Okay, so today we're going to be creating a job posting for a marketing coordinator job for the Smart Cookie Bakery Company. I'm starting off in a blank Word document. I can tell it's a new blank document because up here, Word has automatically called it Document 1. It will always, when you open a new blank document, call it Document 1 unless you have other blank documents open, in which case it will call it Document 2, 3, 4, and so on. So to change the name and save the file to my computer, I'm going to go to the File tab and Save As and Browse. That will open up the File Explorer on my computer. It's defaulting to the Documents folder on my computer. If I want to save my file here, I can change the name down here in File Name. So erase that and call it Job Description. Then once I've named my file, just want to click Save down here, and then it will automatically close out of the Save menu, and we're back in our document with the file name updated. Then first, I want to type in the information for my posting. You can feel free once I have everything typed in to pause the video if you need to catch up. Now, for the sake of example, I'm going to add a few spelling errors in here. And when I do that, Word will let me know by inserting the squiggly red line under the misspelled words. So to go in and allow Word to tell me how it thinks I've misspelled those words and what I can do to correct them, I want to put my cursor in front of my first line Smart Cookie Bakery, because inserting my cursor there will tell Word, look at everything after where I have my cursor inserted. And I want to go into the Review tab, Proofing Group, Spelling and Grammar. That will open up the proofing pane, P-A-N-E, and it will go down the list of words it thinks I have spelled incorrectly. It will tell me the sentence or line that the error is in and give me the suggestion for what it thinks I was trying to spell. In this case, there's only one word it believes that I was trying to use, which is the correct one. And then it's going to give me synonyms for this word it's suggesting in case you aren't entirely sure what exact word it's suggesting. If for whatever reason I wanted to ignore its suggestions, say it was telling me I spelled a word incorrectly, but I know I spelled it the way I needed to, I could press ignore once. If I used that same word multiple times and wanted Word to ignore it throughout the document, I'd press ignore all. And then if Word's telling me I spelled something incorrectly, such as a last name or a location name that I know is correct, and I know every time I go into Word, it's going to tell me it's spelled incorrectly, I can add it to my personal dictionary. That dictionary is computer specific. So say you save it to a dictionary on your computer and then come use Word at the library, it will not be saved into that Word's dictionary. So to accept word spelling suggestions, because in this case, that is the correct word, I'm just going to click right on the word, and it's going to move down to the next misspelled word. Again, it's only going to give me the one suggestion. That's what I want. Click right on it, and then it will give me a notification. Spelling and grammar check is complete. Now, in this case, I know that Smart Cookie Bakery is a proper name. It's the name of the bakery. But spell check doesn't check for proper capitalization of names. So even if you do the spelling and grammar check, you'll still need to proofread any document you have to make sure formatting like that is correct. And then next, we want to work with just our job responsibilities. I want to put my cursor in front of the first job responsibility, increase brand awareness, and then highlight down to the bottom. Then in the tabs, I want to go to the Home tab, the Paragraph group, and this button A to Z to sort. So it's sorting by paragraphs. Each one of these lines is considered its own paragraph. After you press the Enter key, Word assumes the next line is a new paragraph. So each of these individual paragraphs, even though it's only one line, is getting sorted in ascending order, which means A to Z order. If we had highlighted job responsibilities also, we want to check off this bubble, my list has header row. That would say we don't want job responsibilities to also be put in A to Z order. We want it to stay up here. But in this case, because we haven't highlighted it, we don't have to worry about that. Just press OK. Then that puts our job responsibilities in A to Z order. Then I can leave my responsibilities highlighted for now, then go up to the Home tab, Paragraph Group. I'm going to click on Numbering. That will turn our job responsibilities into a numbered list. Now each paragraph gets its own number, so again, each line is its own paragraph, so Word knows to number each responsibility. And then if I realize, actually, I don't want to have a numbered list because that makes it seem like we're ranking things. And just because attract more customers at the beginning of the alphabet doesn't mean that it's the most important, I can change it easily to a bullet point list. So with keeping my job responsibilities highlighted, just click the button right next to numbering, which is bullets, and that changes everything to bullet points, which are these dots here. If I wanted to change the style of my bullet points, and click the drop down arrow next to that, and then there's a few different kinds of bullet points you can use. Say let's change it to check marks. And then I want to change all of my text currently in the document to Times New Roman style and 12 points. So to select all of my text at once, there are a few things I can do. I can either put my cursor at the beginning of my text and highlight down. I can go to the Home tab, Editing Group, select All, or I can use the keyboard shortcut, hold down the Control key, press the A key, that is Select All. Then to change our font, we go to Home tab, Font Group, where it says Calibri Body, that is our current font style. There are a few ways I can change the font. If I don't know what font I want to use, I can click the drop down arrow, and then our list of all the fonts available in Word, there are quite a few clearly, are in an alphabetized list. When I put my cursor over any of the fonts, it gives me a preview of what that would look like in my document. In my case, I've used Times New Roman before on this computer, so it shows up in my recently used fonts. If there are ones you use often, they'll show up in your recently used fonts. If that's not the case, you can also, where it says Calibri, erase that with the backspace key on your keyboard and start typing Times New Roman. It will fill in. Press the Enter key. That changes it to Times New Roman. And then to change the text to 12 point, right now this 11 right here indicates that it is size 11. I can either type over that 11, make it a 12, select 12 from the drop-down menu, or these two A's right here with the up and down arrow are increase and decrease font size. So I could just click those and I see this number over here changes. If you're only changing your font by a few points, I just want to use those buttons to make it a little faster. So next we want to clear the highlight. So to do that, you can click anywhere in the white space on your document. That will clear the highlight. Then I want to highlight just marketing coordinator and job responsibilities. Then in the Home tab, Paragraph Group, this button right here in the middle, line and paragraph spacing. I'm going to click Remove Space After Paragraph. So what that does, you can kind of see the preview going on behind this menu, is it's saying that these two lines are their own paragraphs, again, because we pressed enter after each one. And we can see between Smart Cookie Bakery and Marketing Coordinator, there's a line of space. There was a line of space between Marketing Coordinator and Job Responsibilities. We're just telling Word these two things look better if there's not that space in between them. Then we want to work with just our title, Smart Cookie Bakery. So to select all of one paragraph, you can either highlight the whole thing or put your cursor anywhere in that paragraph and triple click, 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 click. That highlights my whole paragraph. Then to capitalize each word, I could manually go in, erase the C, type capital C, erase the B, type capital B, or I can go into the Home tab font group. Then next to our increase and decrease font size, we have change case. We want to change it to capitalize each word, and it shows an example of what that would look like. And then that capitalizes our C and B for us. I actually want to apply that also to Marketing Coordinator, as I had not capitalized the C earlier. Okay, and then we also want to apply a few other things to Smart Cookie Bakery. Want to center align the text. Right now, all our text is left aligned, which means it is as far to the left as the margins will allow it to go. So in the Home tab paragraph group, this group of lines here determines the alignment. Right now, it has align left selected. We're going to select center, which moves our text to the absolute middle of the page. You don't have to try to guess where the middle is, it just moves it to the absolute middle. I also want to bold my title. That's in the Home tab font group. B for bold makes the text darker and slightly bigger. And I want to highlight Marketing Coordinator and underline. That's U for underline. Highlight Job Responsibilities. I for italicize. Underlining puts a line under all of the letters and spaces. Italicize makes your text kind of look like it's leaning to the right a little bit. And next, we want to have our cursor underneath the existing text. So I just double clicked underneath of my existing text and I can see my flashing cursor moved beneath the text. With your cursor down here, I'm going to go to the Insert tab, Pages group, Page break. So what that means is it's inserting a second page. Now mine, because I had my view before set to multiple pages, defaulted to that view. If yours does not, you can go to the View tab, Zoom. Typically, especially if you're opening Word for the first time, it would be this view one page where it has the first page and then underneath the second page. Multiple pages shifts our first page to the left, our second to the right. If I want to zoom in or out on those pages, I can adjust the zoom down here. I can see right now it's at 77%. I can press the plus or minus to zoom in and out or adjust this scroll bar manually. And then I want to copy all of my text from the first page. So I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut again, Control key plus A to select all. And then there are a few different ways I can copy the text. I can go to the Home tab, Clipboard group, and press copy. I can right click on my highlighted text and press copy, or I can use the keyboard shortcut, Control key plus C, C for copy. So in this case, I'll just press copy on the clipboard group. That doesn't do anything immediately obvious, but our text is copied, which we'll be able to see when we put our cursor on the second page. You always want to make sure your cursor is inserted where you want the action to happen. And then to paste, you can either press the clipboard picture over here, right click and press paste. In this case, we don't really have to worry too much about these options, but you do want to keep source formatting in this case, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control V, V as in violin. It is not P as in paste because Control P has already been designated to be the shortcut for print. So remember, if you're using keyboard shortcuts to copy and paste, Control C as in cat to copy, Control V as in violin to paste. And then it looks like I accidentally copied a little bit of extra space. That created a new page. That's no big deal. Just with our cursor on the third page, press backspace a few times. And then when you backspace far enough on a blank page, Word realizes you probably don't need that page because there's nothing on it. So it just clears it for us. And then on our second page, which is the one on the right, I want to highlight all of my text except for the title. Just drag down with my mouse to highlight. And then I want to center align this text so it lines up with my title. So if I go to the Home tab, Paragraph Group, and center align it like before, I can see these two lines of text cooperate perfectly fine, but our bullet points are no longer lined up. The formatting for those works a little differently with alignment, so sometimes they don't always play nice with the center alignment. So I want to clear my highlight just my job responsibilities with the bullet points, change them back to left aligned, and that makes them line up all nicely again. And then if I want to scooch those over to the middle without messing up the alignment, I can use this tool, Increase Indent, so that moves the text further away from the page margin. And with bullet points, when you increase the indent, it changes the style of the bullet points. As we can see, it's switching between Roman numerals and numbers and letters. I can change it easily back to bullet points by pressing the bullets button. And again, if I wanted to change the style of the bullet points, just click the drop down menu. I'll change them to diamonds this time. And then as you can see, even though we copied the text from here, once we pasted it somewhere, it has nothing to do with the text over here anymore. We've centered this text and changed the bullet points. It did not do anything to the text over here. Even though the words are the same, it's two completely different entities at that point. Then we want to highlight all of the text on our second page, the right page. You can't use Control A at this point because that would also select our text over here. We can use our keyboard shortcuts, clipboard group, or right click again to now cut this text. So to do that, I would either in the Home tab clipboard group, press cut with the scissors, right click and press cut, or use the keyboard shortcut Control X. You could think of X like you're Xing out the text because cutting eliminates the text from the document, but in the same way as when you copy it, it's still saved on the clipboard. So that means Word in the background is still remembering the text that you cut. So then you can put your cursor on the second page and paste. I'm going to use Control V on my keyboard, and that carries over the formatting from the second page. So I can tell that my text is still centered as it was before. And then if I want to get rid of my second page, just press the delete key a few times until my second page clears. Okay, now that we have all of our text on one page, the last thing we want to do is insert a header. So a header is text that we can put up in the margins at the top of the page. So the margins of the document are almost like an invisible picture frame that goes around the four edges of the document and tells Word how far to the edge of the page on each side the text is allowed to go. For example, this text over here is bumping up against the left margin. This is as far to the left as this text can go. The title text is bumping against the top margin. That's as far to the top as this text can go. But if we open up the margin, we can kind of ignore, or if we open up the header, rather, we can kind of ignore the rules of the margins. So to open up the header, we can go into the Insert tab, the Header and Footer group, click the drop down under Header. We're going to insert the second one, blank 3 columns. So that's going to give us placeholder text here that tells us where we can start typing in each of the 3 columns. So over here, I'm going to insert name. In the middle column, the name of the class, that's Intro to Word. And then in my third column, I want to put the date. I could type out the date, but Word has a tool to insert it for me. So if I go in the Header and Footer Tools Design tab, which opened automatically when we started working in the header, go to the Insert Group, Date and Time. It gives me all these different formats that I could put the date and the time in. I'm just going to choose the third one. You can choose whatever one you want. You can press OK, and then that automatically fills in the date. So when I want to close the header, I can either press right here in the Close group, Close Header and Footer, or double click anywhere on my document to go back into the document. You can't edit the body text of the document while in the header. You can see I'm in the header. I can't click in here. And you can't edit the header text while in the body of your document. So if your document looks like this with different text in the header and potentially different bullet points, that means you have successfully followed all the steps for our first lesson, Intro to Word.